Yo, what's up? It's album review time. I have a fucking album review. Clicked on it. Unearth, Watchers of Rule. This came out October 28th. I'm a little late. Whatever. On E1 Records, I believe. They're not on Metal Blade anymore. This is their sixth album, a follow-up to Darkness in the Light from 2011, I want to say. Could be wrong on that. Anyways, that is my personal favorite Unearth album. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, say what you will about that. A lot of people probably say The Oncoming Storm, or you know. It's just my opinion, man. I personally think that The Oncoming Storm is a little bit of an overrated album. I don't think it's terrible, but I think it's a little bit overrated. I just felt like in Darkness in the Light they had everything going for them. And there was a lot of variety there. All the hooks were there, and it was great. So I was very excited for their new record, Watchers of Rule, and I do think it is a solid album. And you know, I always get really kind of excited when good metalcore comes out anymore. Because to me, there's not a lot of it. Most metalcore, remember, the metalcore genre is just filled with shit a lot of times. And so when you have like a good band putting out a good album like this, it's pretty cool to me. So the album starts off with the song "The Swarm," and you know that's probably one of the better songs on here. That song is really really good, and you know right away I'm like, you know what, these guys are not missing a beat. They're still that absolutely energetic, very balls to the walls band. And that's what I love about Unearth. I feel they focus more on the metal side of metalcore. You know, do they have their fair share of breakdowns? Yes, they do, but I feel they use them, for the most part, very appropriately. You know, and that's very evident on here. And I feel that their breakdowns are very just... They feel very loud and aggressive and violent most of the times on here. I look at Guards of Contagion. You know, just the way that starts, it's just like, you know, if you saw this live, you'd be fucking headbanging like a motherfucker. Another track that really stands out to me is the sixth track, Never Ceased. When the track builds up to the breakdown towards the end of the song, it's just so fucking heavy, and I'm like, yes, this is fucking rad. Are their breakdowns unique? No, they're not. You know, there's not really any breakdown out there anymore that you can say is unique. You've heard it all before. You can only play a breakdown in so many ways, in my opinion. But they use them where they feel right, in my opinion. I do think this album, on the little bit though, lacks a little bit on the riffage. And I know I just said Unearth, they focus more on the metal than the core side, and you know that's completely true. And there are a ton of really good riffs on here, but I feel compared to past albums, this one's just lacking, just about maybe a couple riffs short. I feel it's just personal opinion. It's just me nitpicking, but you know that's perfectly fine. Trevor Phipps, I believe his name is, the vocalist, he's a fantastic vocalist. And one thing that I just like about his vocals is when they get to very melodic choruses, such as Guards of Contagion. You know, I love his vocals during choruses like that. How, you know, everything's going for him. The rhythm is very driving, very, you know, it's there, and it's awesome. It backs everything up great. They usually have a really great guitar melody over top of that. That's one thing that I've always thought Unearth was just really, really good at. And they just reminded me of like Killswitch Engage or As I Lay Dying, and how they just write great melodies to put in their choruses. And then they have Trevor Phipps' vocals, and they always seem to just mesh perfectly. Everything just goes together perfectly. And you know, I like his vocal style. I like his, you know, aggression. I like his vocal patterns most of the time. Even though some of them start to feel a little bit of the same after a while, just the way he pronounces certain words and everything, but you can get past that. Um, and I feel that when it comes to metalcore, he has one of the more unique sounds, and I feel. One thing that shocked me is the Swarm was the first track that they released from this record, and I was like, man, he just doesn't sound the same, and I think it's just a production thing, maybe, in that his vocals sound a little bit deeper. They sound a little bit more low, in my opinion, on this album, and I think it works out. I really do. Now, um, Darkness in the Light had some clean vocals on it in a couple tracks, like Watch It Burn, I believe, is one of them. There's a couple other ones, but there are none on here. And you can say what you want about that. I don't care what Unearth does, whether they use clean vocals or not, because I always thought they used them so sparingly that it really added to the song whenever they used it. So I don't really care that they didn't really use clean vocals on this album. Um, Buzz McGrath, I always say his last name wrong, and Ken Susi, I believe his name is. They're two guitar players, Buzz and Ken, let's just say that. They are absolutely fantastic guitar players, and these guys can fucking shred, and that is very clear on this album. It's been clear on pretty much every Unearth album that these guys can fucking shred. I look at, fuck, what's that song? God damn it. My Will Be Done. I knew it began with My. I haven't listened to that album in a long time, so the March. But My Will Be Done with that very sweepy, shreddy intro, or Arise the War Cry off of their last album. Things like that are just that really stand out, and it is here. I believe it is the third track on the album. Lifetime in Ruins really stood out to me. Very shreddy there. A lot of the tracks are. The solos shred on this album. The riffs are there. The sound of the guitars are very heavy. I just love their style of play, and it's great. Yeah. The drumming's fantastic. It's a very energetic record, and if you want something that's just more in your face, with some very good riffs and very aggressive breakdowns, Unearth is right here, man. And I do think this is a solid album. I don't think it's better than the last one, in my opinion. I think this is about in the middle of the pack when it comes to Unearth albums, just to be honest with you. But that doesn't mean it's a terrible album. That means you should go buy it. I do have the album. It's just out in my car because I was listening to it. I'm going to give this a solid fucking 8.25 out of 10. Definitely check out Unearth's Watchers of Rule. And thanks for watching us, supporting. I'll see you guys later.